This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Hello Internet, Taliesin here, and today we are talking goblins. We are talking cars. We are talking dungeons and raids and delves and rewards and transmog and mounts and a whole lot more besides, because we are talking World of Warcraft patch 11.1 Undermined. Because by now you'll have already watched all of your everything in Undermine style guides, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey Tally, does that hilarious Undermined pun work in other languages? And, well, it's not really what this video is about, but since you asked, yeah, the French terre-mineur works exactly like the English version. Terre-mine means earth mine, and mineur is to undermine someone. Nice. In Brazil, inframinado combines infra, for below or under, with minado, meaning undermined. So yeah, that kind of works too. Everyone in Germany hates Lorenhalt. It is a pun. The German name for the Goblin City is Lorenhal, but Lorenhalt basically means like bus stop or minecart stop, and the Russian translation is destruction in the lower shaft, which, as well as being the most Russian thing ever, is also kind of sexy. I don't know. But I know what else you're thinking. You're thinking, what are the good and bad things about this new patch, Tally? Tell me what to think, Tally, and that's more like it, because today we are going to rate the new features and changes coming in 11.1 and judge them hot, juicy wins or big, toxic, massive L's. So join us for the hits and misses of patch 11.1. Okay, go, 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 go. Let's start with the very first thing you'll see when you log in on patch day that I think we'll all appreciate. 11.1 will give us the option to change the background scene of our Warband camp screen. On logging in, everyone will get given the new Oharan Plains background and a menu which shows the others that are available to collect, generally attached to different achievements like zone metas, delves, and raiding. Oh, and you better hope the raid is good, honestly, because you need that Gallagio backdrop in your life. I know you do. This is obviously a big win, but it's not even the best new login screen feature. No, you can now create multiple Warband camp screens, name them, and select different backgrounds for each. Absolute game changer, literally better player housing than Garrison's was. A dub so big, if you wanted it for Christmas, then it would have to be like a birthday and Christmas present combined, you know? The Zone. A new raid or Mythic Plus season can be as good as you like, but if it's in Korthia, people aren't exactly going to be waking up early full of wonder and excitement about logging into the world of Warcraft.com, are they? And I think it's fair to say that in Undermine, Blizzard may have, at first glance, created the Marmite of WoW zones. As in, you are either going to love that neon roaring 20s steampunk downtown vibe, or you're going to hate it. So actually, in that respect, it's nothing like Marmite, because actually everyone loves Marmite because it's the sticky brown nectar of the gods themselves. Don't trust anyone who says they don't like Marmite. They are lying. And I have to admit, I am traditionally one of those people that has kind of rolled their eyes a bit at the typical goblin aesthetic in WoW, so I was absolutely predisposed to being an Undermine hater. And if that's you too, then what I will say is, having played a lot on the PTR, I would genuinely rate Undermine as a zone a huge, massive win. In fact, I would go as far as to say that I'm pretty confident this will go down in WoW history as the best patch zone ever so far. Yes, it is that good. The whole zone just feels like the devs really had fun making it. It's rammed with cool characters and details and moments, and running about the place, it just feels real and lived in, which is always one of the best things about any good zone, I think. Everywhere you go, it feels like a city with nooks and crannies and fun things going on. It's just so distinctive, and that vibe is so consistent and thoroughly explored. And then when you add the zone music into the equation, which is obviously a win, because I don't know if there's ever been WoW music that wasn't, but this soundtrack is a dub so big you can see it from space. Then Undermine is just a unique, kind of insane, but also distinctly WoW feeling experience, and that is an amazing achievement, honestly. That said, I've also been doing this long enough to appreciate that it doesn't matter what I say, there's gonna be some of you that look at these images and this gameplay and you're just like, no, I hate that shit, count me out. And you know, that's fair. For you, you already know the zone isn't L, and that's fair, different strokes. But I'm certain that some of you will come around and end up loving it like I did. And I said just then you'd be running around the zone, but of course that's not quite true, is it? Because one of the most eye-catching new features of 11.1 is the drive system. The semi-dynamic ground mount system that is Undermine exclusive and will see you dashing around the map in your very own customizable hot rod. Now look, I'm not gonna lie fam, this might take you a little bit of getting used to when you first jump in. The opening 20 minutes of my Goblin Road Warrior adventures on the PTR were a frustrating, crashy mess. I was the Boeing of the tarmac. I couldn't get anywhere without the risk of serious bodily harm. But it turns out that's just because I'm old and I hate change. It's actually a pretty standard video game vehicle driving system, this. I compared it to how it feels to drive in Watch Dogs 2 for the 12 people who played that game and will appreciate the reference. It can be upgraded and tweaked to have faster or slower acceleration, handling, top speeds, and boosts, so you should be able to get it whizzing around just how you like it, and you'll get plenty of chances too. As well as being a fun and ludicrously fast way of getting around, there are dragon racing style drive time trials throughout the zone, and an option to turn on your radio and receive basically never-ending quests, complete with cool arrow above your head like you're doing GTA ambulance jobs or something. It's very silly, but very cool. Interestingly, a feature that was mentioned when D.R.I.V.E was announced, and which was also visible for a time but unimplemented on the PTR, was the passenger system, where you could choose from a list of collectible NPCs to cruise the streets with you and presumably give you different perks, but that quietly disappeared a couple of builds ago, and instead you can now collect and choose between different car horn noises, which is very important. That's like probably the biggest decision you're gonna have to make when it comes to the hot rod. Honestly, my bar for any very unusual new feature like this is pretty low. Basically, please don't be shit and ruin the game. But fair play, D.R.I.V.E is an absolute triumph, albeit one that I don't think will become a new ground mount standard in the way that dragon riding did. But like dragon riding, it's just really fun, but also very stupid, and it makes me laugh, and it's a huge dumb win for me. Before we move on from the zone, I just want to take a quick spoiler-free look at the story in the zone too, because the campaign quests are something all of us will end up doing, and I have to say that the Undermine campaign story is unusually good. It does something a little bit different to most WoW story installments in that you get the beginning, middle, and end of the arc all at once. In these quests, it progresses the main war within story, leaves you intrigued but not completely clueless as to where it's going next, and provides a really good reason to be sticking around the town and doing the raid in the meantime until the next installment. The opening leveling campaign of War Within did the same sort of thing, and as a result, it avoids the BFA and Shadowlands signature cliffhanger fatigue. It's a subtle but significant shift in the game's story delivery philosophy. I think it's awesome. Another big win as far as I'm concerned. God, this is going very well so far, isn't it? What's next? Raids are WoW's bread and butter, Blizzard's calling card, and traditionally the thing that the game does better than any other MMO. And it's basically impossible to know if Liberation of Undermine is any good at the time of writing, but I mean, it looks good because it's full of stupid explodey goblin nonsense, and there's a robot dinosaur fighting a bionic gorilla, so we can only hope that the bosses themselves hit the peaks that the design clearly already has. There are though some judgments that we can make about raid adjacent features, like the new raid Renown track. That's right fam, we heard you like Renown trees, so we put some Renown on your Renown and then squeezed them together to make a giant juicy Renown peach. Because as well as the new Goblin Cartel Renown tracks, which is also actually 4 new Renown tracks, kind of like how the Nerubian Renown worked last time out, there is the Liberation of Undermine Loyalty Rewards Club, a brand new idea, in as much as a Renown track can be a new idea. I mean, it's new in the same way that Mrs. Pac-Man is a new idea, you know, which sees players earning 1 rank per week as long as they're doing a minimum of raiding at any difficulty, and earning useful upgrades to the pre-raid hub at the Incontinental Hotel, useful bits and bobs within the raid itself, a stacking power buff in the raid, and ultimately the Robo T-Rex mount, which we all assumed was dropping from the Robo T-Rex boss, but no, it's part of the Renown track. In theory, this is a win. I think it's cool to have a unique progress path for raiders. Now, tier sets are rightly open to everyone, and I like the idea of gradually upgrading the hotel to be kitted out in cool stuff. I want it to feel like my base in XCOM. But there is the definite shadow of an ominous L lurking in the background here too. The once a week progression has a catch up to it, but is always going to feel arbitrarily time gated, I think. And the big reward from this Renown tree, the 2 puzzling cartel chips which work as dinars to let you buy raid gear from the vendor, have been removed. And it never feels good to have cool gear removed. I hope this works out, but I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't, put it that way. One thing I'm much more certain of my love for is the early story mode for the raid, which opens in week 2 of season 2, meaning that everyone will have the opportunity to go in, defeat Gallagio, and see the ending of the raid for themselves. And like I say, the story of the zone is actually tied up quite nicely before you even get in there, so I'm not expecting any massive revelations or anything, but it is an obvious win that Blizzard is pushing access to the story to players here. Good move. The new tier sets for season 2 are visually one of the strongest collections I think we've ever had in the game. Dandy Rogue Highwayman, but a skeleton though? Win. Demon Hunter that's so reintegrated into society they've become a warden though? Win. The Death Knight your girlfriend tells you not to worry about? Win, win, win. And look, we didn't even mention Sylvanus Hunter, Dragonhead Monkhead, and Icky Warlock. Seriously, wins all round. The wins are on me. Win City. The actual tier set bonuses themselves though? Sorry fam, take a big L on that one. Role specific bonuses, so like 1 for tank, 1 for healer, 1 for DPS, based on random procs of a new effect? No, this sucks. We do not like this. Even if it turns out to be okay in practice, it's so disappointing and uninspiring to see that it's already failed in the eyes of the player base, and that is not the kind of cool vibe I want going into a new season. And anyway, it's not going to be okay. It's going to be an absolute massive nightmare of balancing shit, and we all know it. Okay, let's go on to Mythic Plus and the follow-up to War Within Season 1, which many creators are saying was one of the worst seasons of Mythic Plus in WoW history. Now, I gotta admit, I had a good time, like genuinely a much more fun time than usual in Mythic Plus, but I admit I'm just weird sometimes. The consensus is definitely that Season 1 disappointed. And just looking at the dungeon pool for Season 2, well, it's hard to shake the feeling of another L, really, isn't it? Workshop, again, the 3rd time. Theatre of f***ing Pain, are you shitting me right now? The new Waterworks dungeon, which you know everyone's gonna hate because everyone always hates a totally new dungeon in Mythic Plus at first. Okay, that's only ever really happened with Cathedral of Eternal Night and Siege of the Triumvirate back in Legion, but everyone hated those, okay? There's my evidence. The Trash Mob Hellscape, which is the Motherlode, and the 4 remaining War Within dungeons, including Dark Flame Cleft, which has a holy trinity of guaranteed player disdain, a genuine, actual escort quest directly followed by an on-the-rails RP section, directly followed by the most annoying boss in the whole expansion with an obnoxious candle maneuvering mechanic, which is going to be the bane of pugs everywhere. We made a video in alpha calling this the dungeon everyone will hate, and we weren't joking. So it's a big L for War Within Mythic Plus Season 2, right? Well, maybe not.
Hey everyone, it's that time of year again. Love is in the air. I am here for it, and I am here for Squarespace, who are sponsoring today's video. Love you guys. Now, I know Valentine's Day has come and gone, but I like to think of the whole month as an occasion to lavish some love on your favorite people. And what better way to do that than buy them some cool merch? Thankfully, Squarespace has your back with plenty of merch making and selling and buying tools built right in. You'll already know about our handy merch page. Like any Squarespace page, this is easily editable and organizable. Manage your items, have a look around your inventory, move things, send things to the bottom. The choice is yours, as it should be on Valentine's Day. All of this works so nicely because it's linked up directly to Printful, which actually fulfills your orders. So fulfilling. The product catalog is really extensive, going beyond tees and sweatshirts to personalized stickers, flags, yard signs only available in the US, and even refreshing hand and body lotion. Now that's handy. But of course, the best part is that Printful automatically links up with your Squarespace site. So if you add a product, like refreshing hand and body lotion, or just want to change your mockups to be 1,000,000% sexier and cooler, you can do that. And your results will be visible in the time it takes to F5 your page. Now that's more like it. Inspired to pick up a little something for your beloved? Why not get them whatever you're thinking of and a free trial of their own Squarespace site? Just head to squarespace.com/taliesinevitell where you can get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain and build the website of your dreams and their dreams. Or just use code taliesinevitell if you prefer to do it that way. That's squarespace.com/taliesinevitell.
Blizz have at the last minute nerfed quite a lot of the most oppressive candle mechanics in Cleft, which will help, although honestly I'm surprised that they left the section in at all. And general reception to dungeon testing among many top players has been very positive, so you never know. What we do know is that Blizz have made some great changes to Mythic Plus beyond just the dungeons. Top tier gilded crests awarded from key level 7 and more crests awarded whether you time the dungeon or not. Win. Oh, and this is a crafting change really, but in my head I associate it with Mythic Plus. Enchanted crests are now straight up purchasable from the enchanting trainer in Dornigal instead of having to buy a nascent crest and putting in a work order to get it made into an enchanted crest. Win. Unless you're an enchanter, obviously, then it's an L, but shh, don't spoil it. The removal of obvious worst Xalatath affix Oblivion, it's the one where the orbs move towards mobs and you gotta get in their way, with the new Pulsar, where each player gets an orb attached to them and players have to soak each other's orbs for a mastery and leech buff. Win. If only because I hated Oblivion. The punishing Challenger's Guile death timer penalty moved up to Keystone level 12. Win. Keystone Legend title with a new mount reward and making it so that achievement holders will not be able to deplete keys below level 12, which is like, wow. Win. There is more dub here than at a hipster warehouse rave. These changes are great. We like them very much. Let's talk delves. We didn't get a new delve companion in 11.1 as promised, so instead we are stuck with Bran again, and for the rest of the expansion, which is a huge L, because I like the guy out in the world, you know, he's a nice guy, nothing wrong with him. But in delves, I am Bran's #1 hater. If Bran has one hater, it is me. If Bran has 0 haters, it means I'm dead. Except that this season, Bran has some new levels and tricks, and the ability to tank for you, which is a great big dub, fair play. And also, you can now earn the top 2 levels of crests from high delves. 13 ruined crests for a level 11 delve, and delvers bounties at level 11 will net you 10 gilded crests up to 3 times a week, which is frankly huge news and a huge dub for delvers. The new delves are pretty cool looking too. A stinky goblin sewer factory thing and a void corrupted titan site are a nice change of scenery, but also kind of the minimum you'd hope for, so just a small dub for those. And we're almost done, just mopping up some random bits and pieces. The new change to ground swirlies to make them more visible, an obvious win. The world sets are a pleasingly 40k Gretchen Dreadnought dub and make you wonder how cool it could have been if Blizz went all out for the steampunk look in their tier sets, but never mind. And one of my favorite things in the whole of the patch, the Blood Bowl armor sets. Win, win, win. I love these. They're a genuine dream come true, and I don't expect you to be as excited about making your character look a bit like Blood Bowl players as I am, but I don't care. I love them. Win. Which coincidentally is what I always do at Blood Bowl. So there we have it, the good and the bad of patch 11.1. But what do you think? Is this a patch that you are looking forward to playing? Are you coming back unexpectedly after what you've seen? Or has the goblin vibe left you cold and actually you're going to be skipping it? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for joining us today. If you like this video, don't thank us, thank our patrons who give their actual real life money to make all of our work happen. And guys, seriously, thank you, because without you, there would be a whole lot less Taliesin and Evertel. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it. And remember, my name is Rain. No, my name is Taliesin from me and Evie. Until next time, cheerio.